Hello, I'm Sheila Critch, and I'm here to just make a video about growing seed. And we got stuck in this COVID situation a little while ago, and I was also stuck with no seedling trays and so forth. So I had to make my own. I didn't really feel like going to a garden center and standing in a lineup, so I did what I often do, is try and come up with whatever I could from the kitchen cabinets and our recycle bins and so forth. So what I started out doing was making these little pots, and these are for seedlings. And down at the other end of the table, I've got some that I did last weekend. So they're down here. Let's uncover that one. So I tried this last weekend, and I found that this didn't work so well. The pots started falling apart as soon as I put water on them. They were easy enough to make, but they started falling apart. This was toilet tissue rings, and you can see that, well, we've had some success because this one just started popping up here. And in this particular one, I'm growing the blue Ventura bean, and this is the white kidney bean, one of these. Back over here again, I'll just start. And this was the alternate to last week, where I had a little bit of a failure. So what I came up with today was using staples to started out with some toilet tissue rings, and I was able to staple the sides that started unwinding here, and as well, so started off with a ring, flattening it in both directions, creasing, and then cutting these sides here, and then folding up. And you could decide either to put some tape on the bottom or not. This one doesn't have, but this one does have some tape on it. So just remember, when you go to plant this in the garden, to take off the tape, because this doesn't break down. You don't really want this at the bottom of your bed. So I ran out of toilet tissue rings, and so I started building some of these from whatever I could find in the recycle bin, some little boxes. And I'm still pretty low. This one doesn't have an end on it, but I figure it'll still work to some degree. So I needed enough to plant some of these shelling peas. So what I used to build these boxes was, this is just a Tupperware container for my cupboard, and a little bit of cardboard, and a scissors, tape, and an old stapler. And this all works pretty well. So I'm just going to move down to this side here and just unveil what we have. So I'm using, in some situations I have some plastic tops that are great because it has a little greenhouse effect, but in this situation I didn't really have anything to cover over these pots. So what I'm using is just 2 plastic bags, and so it's a matter of putting these sticks in that I had in my gardening drawer, and just 2 plastic bags just laid over the top, just to create a little greenhouse effect, because in fact these pole beans, and that's what I've said here is all pole beans, they need a lot of heat, and you need to kind of have like summer-like conditions in order to germinate them. So we're not sure how quickly they're going to germinate, but I thought I'd try them anyways. So I'll leave that, and down here I have, these make perfect little greenhouses. So I started with these plastic trays. They came with chicken, And so, so after the trays, all I did was to, make a little slit here for these, put these sticks down. And they have some holes in them, and if yours come with no holes, then you should punch some holes in them because we really need to be able to control the moisture. So I started out with the tray, no holes in the bottom, but I had some egg cartons, and I just managed to put the egg cartons, kept putting egg cartons until I filled in this whole container. And I just put soil right in the top, and you want to maintain some moisture here, but not too much. You don't want to sog this because you don't want to rot your seedlings. These are sweet peppers. And so once you put the top on, it's and you can close like that. You can just close the thing or just open it up when it gets, just so that you maintain the heat, but you don't want to have too much heat loss in your little greenhouse. So this container is the same idea. Again, no holes in the bottom of the pot, but we do have the egg cups inside, and this is the beef steak tomatoes. So both of those require a lot of heat in order to germinate. So in this one, I used the toilet paper rings. I did this last weekend, and already we've got a bean here. I think it's a bean. Yeah, this is a blue Ventura bean. I've had great success with this one in the garden. There's a few beans here, and a white kidney bean as well. And these are the toilet paper rings, and I cut the bottom, made a bottom for them as well, just like the ones that I showed you. And started off like this. So these little sticks, you can either make some, or you can use also plastic, a type of a plastic it is also used. You can cut it from something, but I had these sticks on hand in my gardening drawer. And I wanted to create a greenhouse effect on this one. And this really works, so I cut 2 holes in each end of it so that I could just slip it down over the pot, and this really works well too. So in this pot we've got cucumber that I sowed last weekend, and this was from the 2017 garden, and it was a great success. These cucumbers were, and I saved a tag. I initially bought this one from the garden center, and so I just filled up this little tray. Originally came from the grocery store with mushrooms, and so I had this little pot on hand, and it is a coconut husk, and so 4 of them fit perfectly in here. Now, how I water these is I don't take a watering can or anything like that. I use this water bottle, and I just spray it depending on how I kind of build up layers of making sure to water it enough, but of course not drenching it either, and you won't do that with a bottle like this. So I spray everything down, and these husks, they seem to be pretty good. It's a natural fiber. You can find these at your garden center. I just had a few, so I had to make do with some other materials from the kitchen. So in this pot again is a cucumber, and I've just cut a couple of holes in the bag and kind of simulating what it would be outside conditions. So a little greenhouse effect here. And this again is another food tray. And I didn't put any holes in the bottom of this tray. But this is the Red Bull's horn pepper from my 2016 garden that I saved the seed from because it was a great success. And I've already sprayed them this morning, but you can see that they're already drying up a little bit. So I may have to give them a little bit more water, but they're not too bad. It's just the top part of it that's dry. But if you have had any success with peppers, that's great. But for the most part, people that I've been talking to, they've told me no, they're not growing any peppers. They didn't have any success with them. But what I found in growing them indoors or outdoors is that the greenhouse is much better than growing them outdoors. You're able to control the humidity and the heat, and they really need a lot of heat in order to grow peppers. So I will be growing other ones, but those are the seeds that I had available last weekend. And in this case, I've just, again, cut 2 holes in the bag, and this maintains the moisture mostly. I will be sowing other seed, but these take a while to get going, so I thought I'd get started here. And I've got a very sunny location here, so I've just got them set to the side of the table. And I've got just to show you how sunny it is here. But I won't pull the drape because it's very hard to see. And we'll just about wrap this up now. I'll see you again for the next video.